Yeah, how was your day anyway?
It was good. It was busy, but good, productive. Got the things done that I wanted to do. So yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. What about
Amazing.
you?
Yeah, I had an amazing day. I managed to get my hair done. I've been obviously
Yeah.
procrastinating for a minute, but I managed to get it done today. So yeah, it's always
Mm,
good.
yeah.
Yeah, let's get straight into it.
Okay.
Welcome to chat. So everybody know obviously you one of the hosts for a lovely show. We do it for those people that are trying to, for transparency's sake, we do it every Wednesday at 8 o'clock.
Mm,
So yeah, and basically this show is just for entrepreneurs to share their ideas and their business and just to be their authentic self. So that's pretty much it in itself. But today we
mm,
got a lovely host today, Albert. We asked him a couple of questions related to his lifestyle, why he got into business, and a little bit about his routine. Yeah, so first of all, Albert, as I said, how's your day been in general in terms of like, did you plan today or you just go with the flow?
Today it was planned in the sense that I made sure I got myself to the gym this morning. So that's the first thing that I did.
Perfect.
So yeah, because you probably have seen what from one of my earlier posts is I had a bit of a leg strain. So it stopped me going to the gym for a while, but then it turned into a bit of an excuse. And I thought to myself, no, because once you stop going for a while, then it's going to turn into a new habit, which is not a good habit.
Perfect.
So I'm making sure that I get myself back to the gym again. So I'm definitely a little bit weaker. But
Yeah.
I have to make sure ego doesn't get in the way and I just get myself back into shape again. So
That,
yeah, I started my day off with that.
that's
Yeah.
amazing. I'm kind of the same as well. Like my day kind of was like a little bit like that. I managed to get my routine in, which is obviously incorporate obviously a bit of reading, meditation, and obviously the exercise was part of it as well. And I managed to
Mm,
get it about 10 o'clock. And what I found that was when obviously I do exercise, it kind of like help me out in the terms of like my mood. He said that the pace for my mood for the day, because
mm,
obviously when you exercise, you produce this dopamine within the body, and that's gonna affect obviously the whole setting of your day. So for people that's obviously going through a lot in terms of stress, I would definitely advise like doing some form of exercise. That could be walking, um, that could be going to the gym or some form of movement. Definitely help. Just take the edge off from the day-to-day life. So, I mean, you go to the gym and you say you had an injury, but that's amazing. But I just wanted to ask you a question in terms of like your routine. Like, talk to me about your routine for the day. What's it like in Albert world? So you get up, what time, and go to bed. Talk me through that.
Right, it's a little bit varied because I now work part time, so I'm an IT contractor. That's what I do on a part time basis now. I reduced my hours down to 3 days a week.
Yeah.
It's a calculated risk, but I'm very much of the mindset that if you don't take risks, you don't make any progress. And the reason I made that decision is because my focus over the past couple of years has been to improve my quality of life. And that's actually why so sometimes people wonder why I'm called, my Instagram is called Happy to Invest. And the thinking behind it is happy to invest in whatever increases my quality of life. And that can be a variety of things. So because I noticed that when I was working full time, I didn't have the mental energy to do the things that I want to do. It might be an age thing, who knows, but I made that decision. So my typical routine on my 9 to 5 days is I listen to certain business podcasts every day. So the current one I'm listening to at the moment is Fraser Brooks. So he's everything to do with social media marketing and stuff like that. So I will always listen to Fraser Brooks as I commute to work. I work in Westminster, quite close to Parliament. Takes me about 45 minutes to get there, and then I listen to it on the way back. I should probably listen to more motivational stuff. I tend to listen to that more when I'm in the gym, actually. so when I'm in the gym, I'm much more likely to listen to motivational videos. Yeah, so that's part of my routine. And then also I make sure I put something on social media on a fairly regular basis, because my thinking behind that is because I say to people, I say to my son, I say to various other people, it doesn't matter what, if you're in any way entrepreneurial, it doesn't matter what you're doing. You could have the best product in the world, but if no one knows who you are, you know, you're not going to sell that product or service. So I'm very mindful to always make sure part of my routine is putting something on social media to grow the business.
Yeah, that's amazing. And to add to the social media side of it, like in terms of your business as well, like obviously your business is a digital business, so social media is obviously complementary to your business because people need to know your business, which is pretty crucial. Obviously some people, maybe their business more of like they need to, like, you don't need to be like a social media like settings. Like I could understand that side of it. Like you don't have to show up in terms of like social media. It could be more of a word of mouth or advertising,
Yeah.
like in a platform and that. But I do understand where you're coming from in terms of like the awareness, and that's something I found that I needed to do within my business as well. Like I remember when I first started like my fitness business, I was struggling to get the customers and that. And then my friend told me like you need to get the awareness back. People need to know who you are, what you do to get obviously the product out. And that's why I thought a bit more consistent with my social media. And my goal is just to at least put something. It could be fitness related, like motivational mindset, but at least I'm being consistent. Because what happened, as you say, a lot of people are watching, right? They're watching, and I like to put something out there, some of the value, because you never know who's watching in terms of like your audience. And like me, like my audience is on my phone, so I like to put something for them in terms of like just give them value, and then you never know when they might want my services. So that's something I definitely attest to in terms of the awareness, like people know what you do, and I recommend, yeah, definitely. So yeah, question I wanted to ask you in terms of like I know you said you got like a routine. Have you got like a non-negotiable, like stuff you do within, like stuff you wouldn't do within your day? What are your non-negotiables?
You think things that I never don't, yeah, things that basically, I think you took the daily method of operation or something like that. Is that what you mean? Things that I always do?
No. I mean like like for example, stuff you wouldn't do, like for example, watching endless television or scrolling on your phone or maybe going out partying. What are the stuff you have on your not to-do list? What are those stuff?
Okay, well, I'm going to be transparent. It's there are things that I know I shouldn't be doing, but I'm still a work in progress. You know, so you know, sometimes I fall off the ladder. Sometimes I watch a little bit of streaming service and stuff like that. I'm kind of pragmatic. I don't beat myself up about it too much. And the reason for that is because I know, like I said, I know I'm a work in progress. But attached to that, I 100% believe in the mission that I'm on.
Yeah.
And another thing that I'm also aware of is that it's kind of like, you know, there's that expression, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
And so I'm very aware of that. So, and the reason I say that is because back in 2008, I was affected by the recession at the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, so I lost my job and I was trying to find a way to survive at the time. I was selling stuff on eBay and all that kind of stuff. And at the time I was, you know, I do have a bit of an ego. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do my own business. I'm going to do it by myself. And I was fixed on the pride of saying I've got my own business.
Yeah.
That wasn't successful, but I learned a very valuable lesson then. So I learned that I only know as much as I know. And since then, and especially over the past few years, I've latched on to the mastermind concept. I'm sure you've read that in Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
And it was very much a light bulb moment. And I've noticed it in the businesses that I've done over the few years. When you're around people who have a shared vision, it's like you're firing off each other and it inspires you. So for me, it's not so much a case of things that I definitely don't do. It's more a case of making sure that I'm plugged in to the right circle of people so that I will improve over time, you know, because where I want to be, I will get there when I'm the person I need to be at the time. And I know it's a work in progress. So it's more a case of, I know what, it's like, it's a bit like, how do you get into shape? You know, you're not supposed to eat the cheesecake and all that, but you know, you if you make that your goal, you build the discipline. You build the discipline over time, and that's my mindset in terms of my daily routine. So you know, I know what I'm not supposed to do. We all know it, you know, but I will improve over time by mixing with the right people, and you make that progress over time. That's kind of my mindset.
I love that. That's amazing. I just wanted to dive in about the business, because you mentioned that you went into business before and it wasn't successful. I know we all probably been through that stage in our life. Most people on here are entrepreneurs anyway. So can you just explain a little bit in terms of like what lessons have you learned within that business? What have you learned?
Well, for me, the key, going back to the pride again, it was like, I've got my business running. I don't need to look for a 9-to-5 at that time. So if I think of it in retrospect, it's the pride that stops me from going back to look for some kind of 9-to-5 to keep me going. So where I am now, it's more a case of take things in stages. There's nothing wrong with making certain sacrifices. So long as you have that bigger goal. So just to give you an example, because I'm so focused on a particular goal, you know, I'm a petrol head. I've owned more than 40 cars since I was a youngster. I love cars. So, but I have a more important vision at the moment. So that's why I don't drive the car that I want to drive. I'm keeping my expenses down so that I can move towards what I want to move towards. So going back to it slightly, what killed my business at the time was cash flow. Literally that. It was cash flow. You know, so what I've learned since then is that although I don't want to be in a 9-to-5 forever, I should be grateful for what that 9-to-5 that I have in whatever capacity is helping me, and then I can grow my business in the meantime. Because what's the alternative? If you think of how people would have started a business in the old days, they would take out a massive loan, 10, 20, 30,000 years, 10, 20, 30,000 pounds. It's brick and mortar. They lease a property or something like that. And the traditional type of business, it would take them, you know, 2-3 years plus before they even break even. Until that point, their business is at a loss. You see what I mean? But because there's a financial stake, it pushes them to be disciplined with that particular business. So I hope I'm not waffling somewhat. So those are some of the things that I learned. So because of that, I take very seriously what I'm doing. I don't underestimate the importance of having the 9-to-5 as a base, but I have to be humble enough to accept it's a growing process, and I take it in stages. So that's the main thing is to basically be humble and take it in stages, and you know, things will eventually work out as long as I stay disciplined and consistent. That's how I am.
My advice for those people that obviously just want to start their business as well, I would definitely advise them to keep their 9-to-5, but also like obviously work on their business in the sense like in the background. So for example, 1 or 2 hours in the background, but also you could hire like a mentor, like somebody who have the business you have, and then use them as a stepping stone to get you where you want until your side hustle or your business start paying more or probably twice as much as your main job. And then after little by little, like for example, what you did in terms of like your business, your 9-to-5, cut down some of the hours. Or you could go probably self-employed or whatever, and probably like use your business in the sense of like offering your services to your employer as a self-employed or contract, and then obviously kind of like dwindle away and focus on your business. So that's one advice I would advise anybody that's trying to get into business. Don't quit your 9-to-5, because that could be your investment to your main source of business. Because like you mentioned, like your business, your problem was cash flow. So you want to get that continual cash flow if you haven't got a big investment, and just start probably small within your side hustle. Just start small and work it way up. Or you can partner up with somebody, partner with somebody and just work with them to get your business to the next level. Yes, I wanted to ask you as well in terms of
can I just add something before the next question? Linked with that, because one thing that I stuck in my mind years ago is that as a bare minimum, if you're entrepreneurial, you should have reserves of, if you had zero income for 3 months, would you be able to survive for those 3 months? That should be the bare minimum. So, if you can't survive for 3 months minimum without an income, then you're not ready to give up your 9 to 5. That's my mindset. So yeah, you can carry on. Yeah,
definitely. I just wanted to tap into in terms of like failure within your business, right? I know you say you learned the lesson, right? But what advice would you give somebody that's probably like in the first 5 years of the business and realize like they're not breaking even? What advice would you give somebody like that? Like they're probably thinking of quitting, but they don't understand like within business is sometimes it's gonna take you probably 5 to 10 years to actually see like good success. But what advice would you give somebody like
that? Again, it kind of goes back to the mastermind thing. Be around, make sure you mix with people who are doing what you want to be doing. Find out about how their journey, how they did it, because you can guarantee their success is always preceded by lots of failures. Guaranteed. There's always lots of, but you call it a lesson rather than a failure. There's always things that they would have learned in the meantime. So it's a kind of, I'll say it again, don't be too proud to ask for help. Don't be, I'm mentored by people young enough to be my nieces and nephews. Doesn't matter. Knowledge is knowledge, so wherever that comes. So one of my mottos is, if I'm the most knowledgeable person in the room, I'm doing something wrong, because I'm not going to learn anything, So I want to be around people that I can learn from, and then that's basically how you grow. So yeah, don't be too proud to be humble and learn something from those who are more successful than you.
Yeah, I know obviously you are a big reader, right? And I just wanted to like try to find out like why would you read? Like why would you advise somebody to read? I know you like reading and stuff. What would you advise somebody to read? Why would you do that?
Okay, I used to be a reader when I was younger. Now it's mainly podcasts. So I have to confess, it's mainly podcasts. But in terms of getting the knowledge, it's kind of going back to the same thing. You don't know the limitations of your knowledge until you expand your horizons. So it's the same kind of thing. It's because a mentor can come from anywhere. A mentor can be somewhere within your circle, or a mentor can be someone out there that has achieved something, that has achieved great success in some area. So yeah, it's life is a school. The learning never stops. So it's dangerous when you come to the point when you say, you know what, I know it all now. That's a very dangerous mindset to have. There's always more you can learn. There's always little tweaks. And then the other reason why I listen to these things as well is that, I'm a bit of a nerd, so I always reference films. If you ever saw Karate Kid, wax on, wax off. I don't know if you remember that. Okay, anyway, basically, the bottom line is basically something can be repeated to you 2 times, 10 times, and sometimes it won't even sink in until you've heard it the 40th time, and then just something gives it context and meaning, and then yes, I understand that, and I'm going to run with that. So yeah, so you do have to expose yourself to that on a consistent basis, and before it sinks in sometimes.
Yeah, and also it takes one idea as well, and most of the information that you said, like a lot of people, what they do, they compress like their lifestyle in a book. You literally compress 10 years into a month by just reading information. And you just probably got one information, one idea could have to change the whole, the whole situation. That's why I like to dive into like different books just to see where information applies in my life that can help me to get to the next level. Because at the end of the day, we all trying to get to the next level.
Yeah.
That could be in ourselves, with mental health, physical health, financial health. The information is always out there. So I will definitely advise somebody that struggling in some areas. There's books and information, there's podcasts, there's people that's out there that have what you want. I would definitely advise them to tap into that to help them to get to the level. I just wanted to ask you probably 2 more questions. I know obviously you do a bit of traveling, right? Can we just dive into that a little bit? So why did you get into the travel? Why did you pick to get into the travel business? I know you're passionate about that. I saw you always posting it on your social. So just explain a little bit about the travel.
Right. So with travel, it was like it ticked all my boxes because just to give you a little bit of a background, it's I've been into crypto since 2017.
Yeah.
And when COVID hit, there was all these kind of different opportunities that came out, trading and all this kind of stuff. And I found it very attractive, but and I do still do that, by the way, but on a lower level.
Yeah.
But I also like helping people, and that's one of the reasons why I like the affiliate network marketing model. But I came to the conclusion that unless you've gone through that personal development, trading is a dangerous thing to get into because it's all about mindset. It's psychology. The skills you need to trade are easy to learn, but the mindset is something that takes time. And the problem with it is that the penalty for ignorance in that sphere is quite punishing, if you see what I mean. It's a painful punishment. What I love about travel is that it's something that everyone wants to do. Whatever you do, it's a bit like, do you remember like the days of the gold rush in America? They would say that the people with the picks and shovels made the most money. I see travel a little bit like that. Whatever you want to do, travel is there somehow. When people want to be successful, what do they say? I want to travel more. So travel always comes into it. So it's something that I'm passionate about, and I see it as something that is I wouldn't say easy, but the learning curve isn't so steep, and it's easier to help people become financially successful in this industry. That's why I love it, and that's why I'm going to Orlando on Sunday.
Wow.
So
what's happening in Orlando?
So there's a business conference within the travel business that I'm in. So it's going to be over 3 or 4 days. There's going to be lots of different workshops. So workshops around the business itself in terms of the skill set for being a travel advisor, the skill sets you need in terms of marketing, the skill sets you need in terms of mindset. And then obviously there's the networking element itself. So it'd be great to be amongst people who have ambitious people who have a similar goal. And, that's definitely something that's, I have no doubt is going to give me a lot of inspiration. So I'm really looking forward to that.
And obviously, you mentioned the mastermind as well. And obviously, within those networking events as well, you got loads of people that's quite like-minded. So I guess obviously you going to the event, that's gonna enhance your level or your motivation to keep moving forward to become the best version. And somebody mentioned before, like those type of events are like most kind of like a personal development. So I guess that's one of the reasons why obviously you're passionate about the travel as well, because it's like personal development with a compensation plan, right?
Without a doubt, yeah. Without a doubt, there's so much to be gained from it, and I've seen the changes within myself since I joined, and for the better. And I know where it's coming from. So yeah, what's that saying? I drank the Kool-Aid. Yeah.
Like for me, like obviously environment is something big for me. I like to associate myself with certain people that have what I need, are really positive. Like I'm a positive person, and I like to associate myself with them, like-minded people. And being within that environment, tend to meet a lot of people within that element as well. And what I found out was like they're doing the stuff I'm doing. Like they're reading, they're meditating, they're exercising, they're journaling. I'm like, wow, this is like my tribe, and I want to be part of that. So I'm feeling like I'm drawn to that with the energy every day. I'm just really grateful, man, for the opportunity. And also, I get to earn money as well. I get to focus on the financial side, the spiritual side, the mental side, the physical side. I'm like, wow. And plus, you got social side as well. So it's kind of like
Mm.
that whole holistic approach you get within that niche, and you get to see and like obviously travel as well. So I'm like, okay, and I love that I could implement my business as well, my fitness business, because I'm thinking about retreats and stuff like that. So I'm thinking like matching. I got a group of people, they come from my website, they book whatever they do, and then I get commission from it. So it's like a win-win for me and for them as well. So it's amazing.
Yeah, well, picks and shovels again. See, whatever the business, there's a chance that travel's going to be an element of it. So there you go.
So my final question for you in terms of like impact, I know you're very impactful and stuff like that. So what impact would you want to leave on the world? So just yourself, like in the next 5 years, what sort of impact would you want to lay on the world before you leave this earth?
There's a part of me that wants to say I don't know, and this is what I mean when I say that, because who I hope to be in 5 years will have a wider, more expansive view of the world than I have today. So, but having said that, one thing that is in my mind, because of, let's be upfront. When you first start on an entrepreneurial journey, you're thinking about yourself and your immediate circle. But as you become more accomplished, then your goals and your visions to become more expansive. And one of the things that I would absolutely love to do, and it's always been at the back of my mind, it's micro loans for small businesses in developing countries. That's always something I've been interested in, because I'm a bit weird. I don't like giving money to someone. I'm not religious, but you know that give a man a fish, or teach someone how to fish. That's always been my mindset. So I've always been of the mind that if I could help entrepreneurs in developing countries with microloans, that's the kind of thing I'd absolutely love to do. And you can only do that kind of thing when your cup is full. That's my perspective anyway.
I love that.
I'd love to be in a position to do that.
By the cup as well, like filling your cup. Have a filled cup before you can pour it. And I learned that halfway before. I know we cannot shop for time right now, but I just wanted to say it was a pleasure get to know a little bit about you. Definitely, I could tell like you're really passionate. Passionate young man, and I could see your future. It's gonna be bright, man. Just keep doing what you're doing in terms of like your Facebook and your Instagram, and you're just being an action taker. And I'm grateful to be present, and I'm literally taking some tips of you as well, like with the
likewise.
skills. So
when I see your workouts, I feel guilty. When I see your workouts, I feel guilty.
Yeah. I'll do, man. But yeah.
You froze there. You've just frozen. Okay, I think I'll have to end it then. Yeah, okay. All right then. Anyway, thanks to everyone who attended. Really appreciate it. And a copy of this will be put on our joint YouTube channel, so you can watch it again afterwards as well. So thanks for your time, everyone, and take care of yourself.